Hello, everyone. I'm the J.R. Stewart. Welcome to my podcast, live show, actually. And today's topic is comes from a young lady that has recently become a client. She reached out to me, about 2 months ago. And in her email, she posed a question. She wanted to know why men cheat. And so I sort of gave her any specificity without doing the details about her story. So I reached out to her to see if she'd be willing to share and talk more. And she did. And I'm going to tell you, this has been a very difficult conversation to have. Generally, I talk to people all the time. It's no big deal. I can talk for hours. But I found myself being really choked up and getting emotional. And several times brought to tears listening to this horrific story. And I've heard quite a few. So this young lady is finds herself single again. She has 2 children. So she's been given permission. She gave me permission to share her story. Although I'm not going to share any details about where she lives or her name. So she's just Miss X. But she has 2 children, 2 different fathers. She just recently had, and this is similar to the other video we played from the young lady from Houston, but this is not her because I don't know her personally. I did comment on her video though, but I don't know her personally. But here's another young lady in the same situation. But the guy she was with cheated on her. And so she confronted him when she caught him cheating, and then she said, things seemed like they were okay, that they had sort of smoothed things over and patched things up, and they were doing okay. She thought they were doing okay. She held her tongue. She tried not to create a situation to make it uncomfortable for him. She made life easy for him as best she could. And she said, things were a little rocky at first, but, she eventually tried to put the whole cheating thing behind her. And she thought they were okay. And then one day he just packed his bags and he left. And she didn't understand, why. Why would he do that? I think she worked so hard to overlook what he had did, to forgive him, to put up with, as she put it, very nasty, trifling ways. That he wasn't a very good husband, wasn't a good provider, wasn't even a good father to his own child or stepchild. But she worked very hard. This was the point, that she worked very hard to make things work between them. And then he left, and she just didn't understand why. Why would he just up and leave? Whew. And I'm telling you, when she's telling me these stories, going into details about things she had to put up with and endure, and how frustrated it was, and how painful it was, but how she endured and pushed through. I mean, I find myself getting choked up just listening to the story, how horrific it was. And I feel for any woman that finds herself in this situation. And so I'm hoping that you find some value in the words we're going to share with you. It may sound like I'm victim blaming, but I'm not. And so after we got through then it came the painful part, where I have to actually share the bad news with you. And it's going to sting. So it's not an easy conversation to have. It's not one of those that it's going to leave us smiling and it's going to be pleasant, because it's not. But it has to be said. She had to hear the words. I had to make sure that she understood what I was saying. So let's start with this. First, you meet a guy. Of course, you know this. When you first meet a guy, and he says, "Oh, I just want to get to know you." That's the time that you have to establish rules. You have to start laying the negotiation. You start playing your cards at that point. You can't wait to see how things unfold and hope that things will somehow work themselves and be okay. That's not how it works with men. Men charged with creating order. And so they have to have order. They have to have an orderly process that they understand. This is where men are best. This is why in the Bible I point out that there are basically 4 rules for women: love, honor, respect, and submit. But there are lots of rules for men on how to love and what to do. With your children, with your wife, and how to be blessed, and how to have your prayers listened to, and how to love, and it goes on and on and on, because men need that kind of structure. When you first meet a guy, you have to be upfront. You have to establish the rules. You have to tell him things like, you can't lie to me. You have to be blatantly honest. Here's what I expect. Now, in her case, she had a child. And so when he pushed up on her, she should have told him up front that in order for me to get involved with you, that you have to demonstrate and show that you're capable of being a good father. Because I have a child. So if this cultivates into us having a permanent type relationship, I need to know that you're going to be a good father. That at the very least, you're going to be a good caveman. That's the starting point for you, ladies. He has to show that he can be a good provider. He can provide some security, protection, at a fundamental level. If you can't do these things, then I may like you. It may be fun. You may be fun to hang out with, but I can't connect with you. Do you see what I'm saying? Up front, this is what men respect and value. The other thing is she should have, that's what I told her, that you should have tried to determine up front, let him know that you expect him to be these things. A good caveman, so you provide, you secure, and you protect. Then a good warrior, which means you protect even further. You protect children, you protect me, our honor, this household, our relationship. All these things have to be protected and provided for. Leadership has to be shown, and authority has to be shown. You have to demonstrate these things. This is the man that you actually marry, is when a man becomes a man god. You don't marry the scrubs. You don't commit to the scrubs, the no-gooders, the piece of craps. And I'm sorry to say, but my wife has a saying. We'll be watching TV sometimes, and she'll say something like, that woman's picker is broken, making a reference to when women pick the wrong guys. And so this is what I had to tell her, that your picker is broke. The first guy that you had a child with, your child's father, baby daddy, from what she tells me about him, he's a piece of crap. He's no good. Now you've had a baby with a second guy, to crap. Now, you can tell me how crappy both these guys are, but what does that say about you as a person who decided to try to make things work with them? What it says is that your picker is broken. And there are a lot of women whose pickers are broken. And there are a lot of men who are broken because of that, because there's a market for broke men. I'm not talking about financially broke. I'm talking about spiritually, emotionally broke. There's a market for them. Because there are women out there who have pickers that are broken, and you allow these men into your life. You commit to them. You share your time with them, your body with them, your resources with them. They don't appreciate it. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve you. But you give yourself to them. This is what this young lady did. You pay the price every time. The good news of all this is that she is someone that I'm working with as a client. And she is someone who is getting the knowledge and being trained on how to be an Eve. So there won't be the third guy, the next guy comes into her life, she's going to be much better prepared. Because she has 2 children now. So you can't keep rolling the dice, making silly mistakes, being foolish in your decision making. She's an attractive young lady, great deal of upside. Lots of men are going to want to be with her. That's already happening. So before she make a third mistake by letting some piece of crap guy into her life, I want to make sure she gets the knowledge and have the skills necessary to deal with this, which is kind of where we are. Up front, we're talking about being up front. You have to be up front with men from the very beginning. If you're already in a relationship with a guy, it's still not too late. You just have to go to him and be stern and let him know, in no uncertain terms, that you have to get your act together. If he's a caveman right now, which is good, that's a good first step, you can work with that, then challenge him to become a warrior and become a man God. And when you become a man God, if you're not married, for you to get married. That has to be the plan. You can let him know that I'm not with you for play. It's not a Keisha Jones situation. And I'm not with you for companionship, for you. I'm not here for just to be your sex partner or to help you feel good. You know, my job is I want to be an Eve. I want to be a wife. I want to help you become a better man. I want to be your ride or die. I want to be there for you as God has outlined it. But in order for me to do that, for me to be there, you have to be a man of God. That doesn't mean you have to believe in God, you have to go to church. That's not what I'm talking about. You guys know that. I've covered this many times. But the principles outlined by God, or at least the inspired word of God, that have survived thousands of years. And these principles are still here. They're here for a reason, because they withstood the test of time. It's not a fad or something that was here to, it's going to be here today and gone tomorrow. You have to become a better man, especially if you have children. I can't have you in my life and around the life of our children or my children with you not being the man that you need to be. You should want to be that kind of man. And so let's get to the big question. It may seem like I'm not getting, well, Gerald, we just want the answer. Okay. The answer is not that it's complicated, so you can't just jump to the end. Well, some people can, but you shouldn't. The point is that if you find yourself in this situation, it's not too late. You have to stand your ground and you have to demand what you want. I'm telling you, in the end, men will respect you for this. So what's the answer as to why did he leave? So let me give you a little insight about men. I've told you before in previous videos that men love admiration more than they love love. Men are drawn to admiration. When you get a woman who listens to your stories, who believes in your pipe dreams, whatever it is, who finds you fascinating, I mean, that's a drug. It's very addictive. Men live for that if they can get high in order to get that, because they haven't done anything that's very admirable. They haven't done anything worthy of praise. Not that they can't, because they fully can. It's just easier to lie. And so in this particular case with this young lady, Miss X, when she first met this guy, he was full of dreams. And somewhere down the stretch, she noticed that he wasn't working on those dreams. He wasn't trying to fulfill those dreams. He wasn't trying to do any of the things he talked about with so much passion. So this is how you know that you're dealing with a snake. Because the snakes know how to talk about their dreams with such passion, such emotion. They could tell you how much they really want this. And how they're going to go to the ends of the earth to get it. And they're going to carry the world on their back. And they're going to put you on there. And it's going to be great when we get there to the promised land. I promise you. Yeah, just talk. That's all it is. And there are women who get caught up in they listen to it. They believe it. Because women want to believe. Oh, This guy, he sounds so passionate about his dream. Women understand emotions. So a passionate speech is always going to hook a woman. And the snakes know this. Here's the other thing the snakes know. That it's easier to lie, to be the man to project what you want, rather than be what you want. And this is one of those situations where he wanted to be a better man. At least he talked about it. He wanted to do great things. At least he talked about it. But over time, she discovered that he wasn't any of these things. He was just a piece of shit, a piece of crap. He's just a piece of crap guy. But at least he was her piece of crap guy. But guess what? She wasn't inspired by him. She didn't feel anything about his dreams or promises when he spoke about them. He didn't help out around the house. He wasn't really a good provider, in and out of jobs. He wasn't a good father to her child. He wasn't a good husband. He didn't protect her. The very essence of what she fell in love with is what she told me. She said, oh, Jerry, there were lots of things when I first met him. Now I think about it. Oh, he was vibrant. She said he was dynamic. She spoke with such passion. But then over the years, she's kind of faded away. I didn't see any of that. But I stayed in the relationship with him because I had hoped that some of the things that I fell in love with would actually come true. They didn't. And I already know the rest of the story. She didn't have to tell it to me. He no longer saw that her eyes light up when he spoke. She no longer looked up to him. She didn't value him or respect him. She had her own reasons for sticking with him. But he wasn't a very good man, and she knew that. She confided in me. Yeah, deep down I knew. She did her best to distract herself and pretend that things that she knew wasn't true, just to kind of make it palatable for him to stay around so she could tolerate him. She had to tell herself something. No one wants to admit that their guy's a piece of crap. So she had to pretend, make herself believe that he was a little bit more worth more than what he was. And that wears on you. And don't think that he didn't recognize this. That he saw that she no longer looked up to him. How disappointed she was in him. She told me stories about how, he missed appointments. His word meant nothing. She couldn't trust him. And we've talked about this. How women, it's a cut. Women die the Chinese torture from 1,000 cuts. And once they're dead inside, they're dead. Boy, it's hard to bring that back to life when a woman is dead inside. When she's been disappointed so many damn times that she feels nothing anymore. She has no trust, no love, nothing left in her. Because men that she's chosen to be with, her picker was broke. These men have sucked it all out of her, one cut at a time, one lie, one disappointment, one failure at a time. But it all adds up. He left. Because May's failure. Say, wait a minute, I've got to figure this out. I'm determined to make this work, just stubborn. I may need to go get some more training. I may need to open a book. I may actually need to read the instruction manual, look at the map and get some directions. But I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to get there. Real men. Weak men. Feckless men. Betas. leave. They abandon ship. They don't know how to be that man. So it's easier to just leave. Go find another woman. So he did this already. The cheating was a trial run. He found another woman who believed his lies, so he could draw energy from her, disappoint her, lie to her, further inflicting pain on another woman, and he wants to be. To grow up, to be mature, to be responsible, to be a leader, to be the kind of man that women look up to, the kind of man that women value, respect, honor. Look to his authority. But he can't be that kind of man. Because he's weak, he's fat. It's easy to just lie your way to being that man rather than being that man. And you women know what I'm talking about, because a lot of you are stuck with men who are not that man that you want him to be. That you know he can be. But you sucked in. You're too invested now. You don't know how to get out. You don't even know if you want to get out. You rather just stick it out with your piece of crap guy and roll the dice and hope he doesn't leave. This is why he left. This is why he cheated. Because it was someone else than simply to say, hey, you know what? I haven't been a very good man. I'm going to roll my sleeve up. I'm going to do better. And I'm not just preaching, throwing this advice out here. I've lived through this. I had to go through this. I had to recognize that I wasn't a very good husband. And there was a period of time I had to recognize that I wouldn't have been a very good father to my daughter. She had to remind me. Dad, you're not one of the good guys. You're a player. And I've told you guys the story. So I'm not going to repeat it. But that was a wake-up call. Wait a minute. I thought I was a good guy. Here's my daughter telling me I'm a player. That I'm not one of the good guys. So I had to do something about it. Wife, after many years of being together, good, 70-80% of the time, but there's still 20 or 30% of stuff that I don't like. And to come to the realization that I wasn't as good a husband as I thought I was. But I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to stop being a father or a husband because I wasn't very good at it. The answer is real men, when they have a problem, they deal with it and confront it. I had to roll my sleeve up and work and make sure that I became a better father. I was a single father raising a daughter. I had to get better. I had to do better. Because I had another person's life that was counting on me doing better. When I remarried, I'm not looking to be divorced again, to go out and date again, and just being stubbornly in love, and I'm just not going to leave because we don't want to get divorced, is not the answer. The answer is be a better husband. And after becoming a better husband, in return, I got a better wife, just as the Bible outlined. What happens when you cleanse your wife, when you love her the right way, when you rejoice over her, you bless her, that she becomes a perfect gift or a perfect church or a perfect creation, depending on what translation of the Bible you read. But that process works. It's been around thousands of years. Tested. So this is the answer to her question as to why. And then, of course, my training with her is getting her to understand how to become an Eve. If you haven't, ladies, go out to, I have a series of videos called The Chronicles of Eve. You can find it on YouTube under the J.R. Stewart channel. And if you need help with getting there, with implementing the principles in your life, you go to my website, thejrstewart.com, and my contact information is there. You can email me, you can call me. I'll respond in kind, I promise. And whatever help you need, I'll try to do my best to offer it to you. And so just understand that the conversation may sting a little bit, but I'm not victim blaming. I wouldn't do that. But there are times we have to have the really mature adult conversation, and it's not pleasant. It wasn't pleasant for Miss X to hear me call the father of her 2 children, both of them, piece of crap. But that's exactly what they are. They're not around, they're not involved, they don't help her out financially. But yes, she was taken aback by me calling him a piece of crap. She still had the instincts to defend him, stand up for him. But if you need help, thejrstore.com is my website. Go there. My contact information is there. And until next time, please keep the letters coming. If you have questions, if I can help you, I will. I promise. And I will keep doing these live broadcasts at least once a week to share things with you. The Chronicles of Eve and the Ways of the Warrior. The Ways of the Warrior video collection almost done. I think I have a few more. And then we'll start on the Ways of the Man God. The Chronicles of Eve will continue to go. There won't be an end. I just add to them as needed. But if you need some advice, you need some direction, go check both of those out so you have a little bit of knowledge and understanding about how you should approach these things and how to deal with them. And then if you want someone to help you, coach you, make sure that you learn the concepts and the philosophy of how to do all of this and what it's all about, my information is out there for you, and I'm here for you. Until next week, I'm the J.R. Stewart. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Bye.